I still have to pinch myself most days.
I am a champion. Nothing can stand in my way.
I found myself going out training in the normal Cannondale jersey a few days and then kind of realized, oh, I should actually put on the rainbow one. I had to go back and then change. But yeah, now it's still unreal feeling, still soaking it in.
Nothing can stand in my way. I am invincible.
Few South African sportsmen or women experienced as successful a year in 2024 as South African cross-country mountain bike racer Alan Hatherly. The multiple national champion and 2018 under-23 world champion delivered on that promise in the most emphatic way by winning the World Championships in Andorra and taking the bronze medal at the 2024 Paris Olympic Games. 2025 will see his focus shift somewhat as he races for Jaco Lula on the road and the Giant Factory Racing team on the cross-country circuit. In what was his final year for the Cannondale Factory Racing team, Hatherly had all the support he needed to put the building blocks for success in place at the start of the year.
Yes, I mean, it was a slower approach to the season. Around January time, we started to really start building momentum with the goal of being fast from April. With it being an Olympic year, there's obviously a lot of focus on Olympics as a primary focus. And then for me personally, I really wanted to do well at the World Championships and the World Cup series overall in general. And yeah, that was the big goals. I think from a kind of early season goals, we put Tour de Cap, the road event in March, as a priority event to tick the box on where we were shape-wise, and then it was actually Ligier in France. Those back-to-back World Cups was 3 weeks out from Olympics, so that was our final test to see where we were at. And I managed to take the double win there, and I knew I was in a good place going into Olympics. And yeah, kind of the rest of the season unfolded from there, and I wasn't outside the top 3 from there on in any event, which was insane.
Hatherly's rise to the pinnacle of cross-country racing is as a result of meticulous planning and his single-minded approach to everything he does, be it training, racing, nutrition or travel. Everything is done with the ultimate goal in mind. However, until his breakout 2024 year, the 28-year-old was something of a nearly man, often in contention on the World Cup circuit for a podium place, but was often prone to falling back over the later laps. So, were there indications in 2023 that he was headed in the right direction?
Yeah, I think there were some signs from last season that I was really on the right path. I think we were experimenting quite a bit with a few things for Olympics, and we got a few things wrong and paid the bill. But yeah, obviously we learned that lesson and carried it through into this year. And I think that, you know, the consistency for me is always the most important. That I always want to be in the front and stay in the front. And I think something just clicked this season, and I made it to the front, stayed in the front, and just continuously fought for the win. And I think it's just, yeah, I'm a different athlete in general now, and yeah, I'm really happy and proud of what I've been able to do and turn around, that I have the confidence now to just go for it and fight for those medals and top positions as well most of the time.
Most of the World Cup races take place in Europe, which makes things fairly easy for Hatherly's European-based rivals. In order to give himself the best chance to compete on an even footing, he had to make a few adjustments in 2024.
Yeah, I think the main thing is just, you know, being a South African and being abroad. It's just balancing that adjustment of being abroad. You know, I have a secondary home base now in Andorra, and it was just figuring out, obviously Andorra is an altitude base, and balancing the high and low, because when you come off of altitude, it's quite hard on the body, and I got sick quite a lot last season. So it was just balancing that this year. And then as well as logistics, I mean, it seems really simple, but you know, getting from World Cup back to Andorra was a bit of a disaster, and a few times last year, just juggling that around. And I think we really had that smooth as well this year. Nutrition was on point, training was on point, and obviously health was on point. So just everything really all fell into place and was just a dream in that sense.
A key element to any top athlete's success is a good relationship with a coach, and one that has stood the test of time.
So I've been with Phil Dixon now as my coach for 4 years, and we're in the high intensity, low volume category. You know, the TSS per week on the hard weeks is well over 1,000. it'll probably be for 15 to 16 hours. So it's, yeah, all the sessions are really bang for buck, I would say. But obviously being a cross-country specialist, it's perfect. I mean, my race time's an hour and a half at most, and obviously we do the short track as well, which is really important for the World Cup overall. You need to be consistent in the short track as well, and that's a 20-minute race. So yeah, there's no real need for volume for what we focused, and with it being an Olympic year, there was even less of a focus on the volume aspect. It was just about going fast and getting off the line, which, yeah, that was what we achieved.
Alan was with the Cannondale factory racing team for 4 successful years, and in 2024 the team of Hatherly, Simon Andreasen and Charlie Aldrich were in top form from the very first round of the UCI World Cup in Brazil.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Brazil was kicking off the season, and that was kind of go time for me and the team at CFR. You know, we really pushed back our preparation to obviously focus on Olympics this year, and normally we'd be racing Jan, Feb, March in Europe, racing all those smaller prep races to get ready for the World Cup season, whereas for this season, with the Olympics in July being the target, we pushed all those races away and just focused on a slower, steadier build, and then said, all right, from April onwards, we're really going to put the gas pedal down and build momentum throughout the season from there. So yeah, it was really exciting for us to actually kick off in April, because it was kind of like our first big race in a way, which is a bit strange to what we've done for the last 3 seasons at Cannondale. But yeah, we started off on fire. I think you know, that obviously was 2 rounds. The first one we were a bit unlucky, but the second round, you know, I was on the podium in the short track and the XCO, and obviously Simon won the XCO. So it was, yeah, a dream start to the season for us to be on the podium, both events, for Simon to take the win, and yeah, we just built momentum from there on for the rest of the season.
Hatherly has broken through many barriers. He became the first South African to win a mountain bike cross-country world title a few weeks after he took the bronze at the Olympics. The World Championships were at Val Nord in Andorra, so logistics a lot simpler as he had his European base there. However, there were a host of other issues that made for a somewhat tumultuous build-up to the race.
I would say the biggest battle would be the World Championships for sure. I think that you know, the whole circumstances around the event, I mean, I don't know how much people actually know, but there was like that lightning and thunderstorm that was predicted for the venue. So, and obviously with the gondola that takes you up and down, they were really worried about having 10,000 people on the hill, and then this lift has to stop because of the lightning, and everyone's stuck in this torrential thunderstorm. So they moved our race from 2 p.m. to 9:30 in the morning, and they shortened it from, I think it was 7 laps down to 6. So our race time was, I think, 1:08 or something. It was supposed to be 1:18 to 1:20. So, you know, it was like, and then we got this update the night before the event. It was at like 9 p.m. We're all getting ready, like, you know, finishing our pre-race meals and team meetings, and then we all get the emails, all right, just FYI, everything is changing for tomorrow. But yeah, that race, with it being shorter, was a different kind of cross-country, one that we haven't had for a long time. You know, for an hour, 8 minutes, kind of everyone can survive. So it was really, really aggressive racing, and like there was gaps in between the guys, but it wasn't really predictable in a way, because I mean, anyone could come back, you could blow up. You know, if you make one small mistake, everything was back together. So yeah, that was quite a tactical and nerve-wracking race, I would say. And you know, in the end, between me and Victor, there wasn't much in it. It was whoever was brave enough, I guess, to go all in and show the cards. And yeah, I think I did it at the right time, and then just managed to crack him enough to ride away to take that win. And yeah, still unreal feeling to have won that.
So the big question is, what is more special, the Olympics or the World Championships?
I think it's, you know, World Championships is special because it's once off and everyone wants to get the jersey. Like, as nasty as it is, you know, kind of not many people remember who was 2nd and 3rd at, like, you know, last year's World Championships. Like, everyone remembers who was the world champ last year, but other than that, it doesn't really count. So, you know, for me, it was really about just going for it. Like, I didn't really care if it went wrong and I went 2nd or 3rd. I really wanted to win that jersey. And you know, when I went all in, it's kind of, I think, just built into like the way I ride and race, that I don't really think too much until like I actually see the finish line. So it was really only when I came over the last little bridge and saw the finish line and realized that it was going to happen that it really kicked in, that this is actually going to happen, that I'm going to win this elite world title and achieve my dream and goal event that I've always wanted to achieve since I was 6-8 years old and got into mountain biking, and was obviously looking at the Ninos and Absalons and said, I really want to be like one of them one day, and to have done it is just insane.
In addition to the rainbow jersey and Olympic bronze, Alan also won the overall XCO world title and took third in the short track world championship race. And he broke his duck by winning his first World Cup XCO race in France. Tough question, but of all his achievements in 2024, what gives him the most satisfaction?
It's hard to pinpoint a specific moment, I would say, that is, I guess it kind of stands out to me. But if I can't be the predictable and say Olympic medal and world title, I would say, strange enough maybe, it's actually the double win in Leger. It was my first World Cup win. I won the short track on the Friday and then the XCO on the Sunday. And I think that back-to-back double World Cup win hasn't been done by many, and for me to get my first World Cup win in that way, and I also won by the second biggest margin in the last 10 years. I think it was like by a minute 50 or something. So it was, I think that was just really a special turning point for my year, and I think just the confidence boost I needed to go into Olympics.
As an elite professional athlete, Alan no doubt has to make significant sacrifices in order to remain at the top of his game.
Yeah, I don't really see what I do as sacrifices. It's kind of something I've been doing my whole life. So training and then coming home being tired and doing nothing and just trying to survive the rest of the day, kind of, it's just a normal. Not going out, not really living too much. Obviously we have rest periods where we can live our life and do cool stuff. But around it, it's kind of every day you have a box to tick to progress, especially around those big goals. It's obviously, it ramps in periods, kind of in the early part of the year. There's not so much pressure to tick all those boxes every day and make sure you're moving forward, but when you get close, about 2-3 months out from like an Olympics or World Championship event, you have to tick those boxes, and every day has to be going according to plan, and you have to be constantly moving forward, otherwise you're just not gonna hit the targets that we are aiming for. I think the other factor this year was that it was a goal event, one after the other. For us, obviously, Leger, that World Cup in France was a really high priority goal event, and then 3 weeks later was Olympics. So we said, all right, okay, we need to go again. Olympics is the biggest goal. And then 3 weeks later was World Championships. And then 4 weeks after that was the World Cup overall I needed to wrap up. So, normally in the season you would be able to target a Olympics or a World Cup, and then you can kind of have some time to come down and then rebuild up and then go again. But for this season, it was just one after the other to just continuously push to achieve this one, achieve this one, achieve this one. So that was quite tough.
Hatherly was one of 3 elite world champions on the Cannondale factory racing team last year. He, of course, in the XCO, and 2 others on the team made a clean sweep at the UCI Marathon World Championships.
Yeah, it was a cherry on top for the team, I would say, this year, that we got Simon Andreasen, my teammate, to win the XCM Worlds in America, and so did Mona. So I think to have 3 World Champs jerseys for the team this year on the new scalpel is just dream season for Cannondale and the team, and I think it's kind of a reflection of the work we've been doing for the last few years to get to this point. And really happy for my best mate Simon that he managed to get that this year. I think he was knocking on the door quite a few times and just didn't quite get the reward from it. So I was just super happy for him that he managed to get that world title and kind of have that cherry on top for his season as well. And obviously with things changing going forwards for both of us, I'm still really happy that he's my mate, and we're both going to be training and working together in Andorra in between the races and continuing the good times.
In what was something of a surprise move, Hatherly chose to leave the Cannondale factory racing team at the end of last year and take up a place with a road World Tour team.
Yeah, so obviously I got the opportunity to transition to a World Tour team, which would be Jayco Alula. and yeah, just really grateful for the opportunity because it includes riding for G-Force, which is the Giant Factory off-road team. So I'll do, at the minute, it's planned that I'll be doing 6 out of the 10 World Cups plus the World Championships. So I'm not gone from mountain bike. It's just taking a slight backseat. But yeah, I've got some big road goals and aspirations for the first part of the season to try see if I can develop to become a better athlete and better version of me. I think that's ultimately the main goal for the next few years, is to be challenged, get out the comfort zone, try something new, and hopefully grow and become a faster version of me. I mean, that's the big goal. I think the long-term goal out of this whole project is to get a gold medal in LA in 2028 on the mountain bike. So it's all stepping stones towards that.
Alan's not a complete novice on the road, having ridden national road championships, the Tour de Cap and the Cape Town Cycle Tour on numerous occasions.
Yes, I really enjoy my road bike and road racing, and I've used it to get ready for the season and done all the local racing here for the last few seasons. And I did a small stint with a continental team in Croatia and kind of dipped my toe in, and like, it was quite gnarly, the experience I had, but it was still really cool nonetheless. And I thought that this, if opportunity comes to go world tour and try this with the best in the world, that I'm going to take it with 2 hands. And yeah, that opportunity was presented to me, and I was buzzing for it, and really grateful that the team was able to let me go to fulfill that opportunity and try this new challenge.
So what is his program on the road for the first half of the year with Jaco Alula?
Yeah, I think it's obviously the calendar on the road really can change quite quick, and we have a penciled in one now. Obviously you have to do the selections to actually make the teams for sure. But I think the one that kind of ticks mountain bike road box would be Strade Bianchi. I mean, obviously it's really, really long, but I think that would be quite a cool one. I'm looking forward to that. And then, yeah, obviously there's a few road tours. Saudi tour is the one I'll be starting with in January, and then copy Hatherly. I don't even know the names of these things yet. Still something I need to learn. Yeah, then I've got Liège, Bastogne-Liège, Flèche Wallonne. So quite a few of the classics as well. Yeah, there's no grand tours planned for me at the minute. So obviously with the mountain bike season and the World Champs also being a focus to go there and defend that title, it kind of gets a bit tricky to put such big races in, especially my first year on the road. But yeah, there's quite a few 4 to 5 day tours and a few 1 days in between, which I think is more than enough for me to find my footing and get comfortable, and then I think we'll just ramp it up over the next few years and target some big ones.
The change in discipline from mountain bike to road is a big enough step for Alan. But there are many other differences between his previous team, Cannondale Factory Racing, and Jaco Alula.
Yeah, I mean, it's changing quite a lot. I mean, obviously from Cannondale Factory Racing, it's 4 athletes and a tight-knit staff of 10 to 12 staff members, and it's a really tight-knit team, really like kind of a family vibe, and everyone works really closely together. And obviously moving to the road, I think it's still good vibes, but it's steady athletes, and I think 90 or 100 staff. I mean, it's a massive operation. So yeah, I think it's going to be quite an adjustment to have so many teammates and so many moving parts, and yeah, it's a whole new world, and going to be a challenge for sure, and looking forward to that transition now.
Traditionally, professional cyclists get a month to 5 weeks off at the end of the year to put their feet up and recharge. However, for Alan Hatherly, it was a little shorter.
Yeah, so I mean, it's I had a really short off season actually. With this transition to Jaco, they wanted me to race Saudi tour in January. So it kind of meant the off season is not going to be the typical 4 weeks, because that it would take way too long to get back to shape. So we shortened it down to 1.5 weeks, I would say. Kind of the last few days it took a bit easier, so almost 2 weeks. And then yeah, I've been back on the bike now, building shape up now. Towards that, I have team camp in Spain, which I'm quite looking forward to with them. Obviously, getting a bit of a taste of what's to come for the next season.
The Paris Olympics was Alan's 3rd Games. He was 26th in Rio in 2016 and 8th in Tokyo in 2021. So what are the crucial differences between a World Cup or World Championships and the Olympic Games cross-country race?
Yeah, I mean, Olympics is one step above the World Championships as far as the way you race, because I mean, a medal is all that counts in Olympics. And I think it's also different, the fact that the field is so small. I think it's only 38 on the start line, and it's a really open course. So I mean, you can race aggressively, and you can also race easy and use the draft and plan on moving up later. So it's quite a unique race in that sense. And obviously, for majority, there's a long qualification process just to get there in the first place. So there's even more emphasis and focus from their side, like to deliver a result and show that their selection was justified. So yeah, I think the race was really wild. I mean, it was really busy with the spectators and stuff. The course was quite simple, I would say, high speed. I think the toughest part of that was actually the weather conditions. It was 28 degrees and like 80% humidity. So it was really tough to get around there, maintain good power outputs for the whole race. And in the end, it was a really tight battle. I think Tom had that flat tire that kind of put him on the back foot and chasing, and then Koretsky was out front, and I was kind of dangling in between for a while. But yeah, basically my situation was that I just overheated really bad. I think we did a lot of altitude prep, not enough heat prep, and kind of paid the bill a bit on that when it actually counted. I could still keep going, but I just lost my edge to be able to attack and do anything on the back end of that race. And third was all I could do. I mean, it was really close battle in the end. Nearly had a chance of more than bronze when Tom and Victor collided in that final forest. Nearly gifted me a gold. But yeah, no, I think I still super happy and proud of how I rode there, and really happy that I stepped up and showed what I was capable of at the World Championships a few weeks later.
Riding the crest of a wave of phenomenal form that stretched almost 2 months, Alan finished his year with a victory in the rainbow-striped jersey at the final World Cup of the year in Canada.
Yeah, I mean, that was, I kind of had an idea at that point as well that it could possibly be my last race for Cannondale as well. So I put a lot of personal pressure on myself to win that last World Cup in Mont-Saint-Anne, and obviously I was in the rainbow jersey as well, and I wanted to show that off and put it on the top step. So yeah, it was important for me to wrap the World Cup overall, win the last World Cup for Cannondale, and to put the rainbow jersey on the top step. So there's a lot of pressure on me for those last 2 weeks. I think I nearly did it in Lake Placid in the USA before. I unfortunately had that flat tire and had to chase from 1 minute back, and then was second in the sprint. But yeah, really happy that I sealed it off the following weekend convincingly in Canada, and it was just a dream way to end off the perfect season.
As seasons go, 2024 could not have gone much better for Alan Hatherly. 2 World Cup wins, the overall XCO World Cup title, an Olympic medal and a World Champions jersey. We look forward to seeing Alan race the classics on the road and the World Cups on the mountain bike this year.